Alrighty, ladies and gents, so we are going to proceed to the next segment of the day. So here we are going to have round table topics, 5 topics, and each of the participants will have 2.5 minutes to bring forth their argument. You need to listen attentively so that you know who to vote for, and I will introduce the topics per argument. So please help me welcome Mr. Bonsai Shongwe to the stage as the first participant. Let's please give him a warm welcome and round of applause. Any side, any side. All right, and then we will have Mr. Penuel Bonsai. We'll have Mr. Penuel Bonsai, who will be our second participant. Let's give him a warm welcome. All right, so the rules are not so different from the debate. I will time each participant. You will have 2.5 minutes to bring forth your argument. And the first topic that we will be talking about is the slay queen phenomenon. The slay queen phenomenon. So the focus can be around lifestyle, survival, or social conditioning. So I will time each participant 2.5 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that you are ready to vote. All right, so in this round, we will start with you, Mr. Bonsai. Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you okay with the topic? Do you want me to repeat it?
No.
Okay. All righty. Okay, your 2-minute, 30-second starts now.
The slay queen phenomenon, first of all, it's easy when we think about the slay queen phenomenon to not go deeper and see what's going on right at the bottom of it. Because it's easy to deal with the sneezing than to find the virus. And I think the slay queen phenomenon is a reflection of a need for validation, comfort, significance, which are needs that we all share. But when you are in an environment that doesn't give you vision, doesn't give you identity, doesn't give you, certain things, then you tend to go that way and you go slay queen phenomenon. Now, I can never be a slay queen, but I'll find a way that expresses that in that way. So I think the best way to see it is that it's a reflection of a lack of what has been discussed throughout this time: vision, identity, and answering the core questions that give a person a way to express themselves. And so you start going with what's nearest to you unless you find something more compelling. So there was no answer about you didn't ask me what the solution is. But the solution is leave the slay queen alone and go back to what's deeper behind the slay queen and solve those issues, and then slay queening may not be the chosen way out. And I haven't done 2.5 minutes, but I think I've said what I wanted to. Thanks.
All righty, thank you, Mr. Bonsai. Mr. Penuel, your 2.5 minutes starts now.
It is very scary here on stage, is the first thing I want to say. So to all the participants, geez, guys, well done to you. Thank you to the organizers. Thank you, Bonsai. The slay queen term was stolen by gold diggers. It actually wasn't meant to be for gold diggers or blessies. It came from the drag sort of culture. If you guys know drag queens, they would slay, hey honey, and then later on your Beyoncés and the like would then make music. And I slay, and it was validation, as Bonsai said. The reason we have gold diggers who have now stolen this term, or blessees who have stolen this term, is actually mostly historic, because we're not having a real conversation around why women want to look very pretty, why they want to be validated by men, and why they want to be taken care of by men of means. This takes us back to our history. Unlike maybe the peacock, where the man is the one that's sort of good looking, in the human animal kingdom, it's the women that perform for men. Whether it's how you look physically, in terms of, your back that looks really amazing, Or it could be breasts, which speak to maybe fertility or hips, or it's just your face. It's an animalistic sort of dynamic. And not much has changed except the way in which women do it today, in terms of the makeup, in terms of the hair. And mind you, as Africans, women used to invest in their hair and their appearance, whether they were using clay like zinc and the like. But women always wanted to look good. And women wanted to look good so that society could say, oh my gosh, look at that beautiful flower. And the men would come close, and the man of most means would then come forward and want to scoop you up. So there's a conversation we're not having in the slave queen phenomenon, and we're just mixing it with poverty and struggle and girls that are desperate and prostitution, but it speaks to who we are as human beings and as animals. And I think when we discuss it, we need to go through all the layers, as Bonsai said, and we need to identify, is this who we want to be? Is the issue that it's transactional? And maybe it should be a matter of once you found the man, then you should marry him and be loyal? Or should we be having a different conversation? We do have a slave queen phenomenon. Like I said, the name was stolen. It was actually meant to be for every girl who loves herself to say, I am slaying and I'm a queen. Therefore, I'm a slave queen. But it was hijacked, and we need to fix that.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Penuel. Just to answer you, Mr. Bonsai, so this is not a formal debate, it's more like a conversation.
Yeah.
So you can bring forth solutions, or you can just discuss the topic from your point of view. Alrighty. So the next topic is social media and the performance of identity. And the focus can be around how digital platforms shape validation, attention, and self-presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and thanks to Doc for the opportunity, and I'm honored to be talking next to Penuel here. Okay, so the social media phenomenon. Once again, the social media firms, one of the gentlemen was talking about language models, but they get paid for how long you stay on there. So they work hard, that's why they exist, to keep your attention, and for as long as possible. And so that can spiral out of control and take over your life, and it literally functions like a drug, like any other drug. Gives you dopamine, you need it again, you need another high, and before long, you're taking a high every 5 minutes. How do we break out of this trap? Once again, the conversations that we had today, I really enjoyed the incisive questions from the judges because they were helping us. They were trying to get us to think deeper about these issues of identity. So, for example, I'll tell you how I identify myself. I identify as I'm a spirit. I have a soul. That means I have the ability to think, feel, and decide, and I live in a body, which was given to me, I'll always remember, by Uzondwago, Ubabaga Jameson, Ubabaga Vusi, and then me, Bagwa Shongwe. And so I'm a Swati. And then, because I'm a Swati, they also told me about Unguni, and therefore I relate Nomlojwa, and then I figure out how to operate around here. Now, here's the thing. I've just told you my identity. That then affects everything I do. I said I am a spirit, which means, first of all, I think of myself as a creator, right? Because spirit creates. It's not limited to just what's already given. I can make something out of nowhere. And I think this is one of the weaknesses that we have as a culture, because I'll make a statement, any culture that celebrates politicians more than creators will get colonized, dominated, beaten forever. And any culture that celebrates creators more than politicians will end up dominating the other.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Bonsai. Mr. Penuel, your 2.5 minutes starts now.
I'm not really going to engage you guys much, but does anyone in this room hate social media? If you can put your hand up. 1, 2. So I'm guessing you guys don't have social media. Oh, you do? Oh, okay, right. So before I share my slightly alternative views. I want to start off by plugging a Netflix documentary. It's available on YouTube as well, called The Social Dilemma. If you've never seen it, please go watch it. It raises the concerns around social media, the internet, and what it's doing to young children. Mark Zuckerberg and I think a couple of other creators are currently in, I don't know if it's in court or they're just presenting to some of the senators to speak about the addictive nature of social media and how destructive it is to children. The way the algorithms have been set, as Bonsai has correctly pointed out, are meant to keep you on the platform. And what they've realized is that human beings are very emotional creatures, and you want to increase their emotional engagement so that they stay on. So the more negative, the more radical, the more insane, people stay on, they get gaslit, they get angry. Oh my gosh, I hate this guy so much. Why are you following him? Because he feeds something in you, right? So social media is dangerous, and sadly the algorithms have been set by people that do not want Africans to rise. So you need to be very conscious and aware of that. That's the one side. The other side is that social media has decentralized creativity in such an enormous way globally. We speak about the performative aspects of social media as a topic. And the reality is kids who are gate-kept from television and from music now have platforms where they can become famous almost overnight. We have more stars than ever before. We've got kids who didn't have jobs, who are unemployed, yes, performing in front of their phone, dancing, but making money, more than grants. Some of them are trending overseas. People like Kabi Lame is now a multimillionaire. We've got kids in industries that were close to other people now becoming somebodies. I'm a podcaster. I wasn't on TV. I wasn't on radio. But people know me because of social media. So with some type of training, some type of responsibility identification, I think if we can take social media and use it as a tool for what it was meant to actually do, and not what some of these guys actually get you to do on it, I think we could all be much better.
Alrighty, thank you, gentlemen. So the next topic is personal responsibility versus systemic failure. And the focus around that topic can be the balance between individual accountability and broken systems. We will start with you, Mr. Bonsai.
Every I is a future we. Every we used to be an I. And often we want to change things at, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this. As I am sitting here, I'm a we 200 years from today. And what that we will look like is more than not influenced by what I do today. Because we sit here, a big group, but at some point we were an I. So I say that to say this. Systems have an impact on our lives. But usually, I'll tell you about me, I have not much impact on the systems around me that affect me. But what I have found is the better I do at the I is the more influence I have over the we. I like that discussion over there going at the same time. So I do think personal responsibility and systemic influence are actually two sides of the same coin. However, I will say this, the one who does best at taking personal responsibility ends up having the most influence over the system, because the more you do of the best at what you do, example, Penuel said nobody knew him, but let me tell you, what Penuel says affects systems at this point, but it started with him and his channel and the following, getting his voice out, and it ends up influencing many other people. And I'll close by saying this. There are the ABCs of success and failure. The ABCs of failure, you'll find them anywhere something doesn't move forward, is accuse, blame, B, complain, C, deceive, D, excuses, E. And on the other hand, anytime you find some progress being made, you'll find someone A, who accepts responsibility, B, who believes in possibility, and C, who commits to it long enough to change the environment. And I want to say this to the young people here. Nothing is a better gift for you than to take responsibility for what you can impact, because 20 years from today, you'll be running the system and changing it with much more influence and impact.
Thank you, Mr. Bonsai. Over to you, Mr. Penuel.
I like this thing of Bonsai starting first, because then I get to like think and, maneuver through what he's saying. As he was speaking, I thought of a mosquito in a room of 10 people. I thought of a little dog that's coming to bite your ankles. The power of like a little thing versus a big thing. Finding cockroaches congregated in your kitchen and how that can sort of frustrate you. There's a lot of power in getting individuals, the eyes, to come together into a we and overthrow a system. We think we overthrew apartheid. Some would argue that we didn't. But at least it looked nice for a while. Personal accountability is a very nice term to throw at when we're privileged. And it took me a long time to realize that some of the things that were frustrating me about black people, about women, I was speaking from a place of privilege. We are born with different gifts. The way you look, you didn't choose to be a yellow bone with a fat ass. It's just your mom and your dad got together. You didn't choose to be school just came easily to you. You didn't even need to study. But that's because your parents somehow gave you that genetic ability. So some of the advantages that some of us have are not earned. So when I come and I tell you, guys, be accountable, it's on you, you must lead. I'm speaking from a place of privilege. The reality is that most people will never be personally accountable because they're just unfortunately not psychologically or mentally strong enough. And this is when our responsibility comes to those who are actually strong to then lead them to be better for themselves. And that's what we're lacking. There was a reference to Umama Winnie Madikizela Mandela earlier. And one of the answers was it's quality and quantity. I think the problem is we don't have enough individuals that are being loud, that are being brave, being personally accountable to other people for the betterment of everyone. So, yes, there's something you can do as a scared person. It's where you spend your money. It's which app you download and use. It's who you vote for so that you can actually fight the systematic. But I think more than anything, the guys who have some level of privilege, strength, voice, money, you guys need to be personally accountable to say, how can I use my privileges to influence the we, the collective, so that we can then disrupt the systematic.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Penuel. You don't reveal a weapon during war, so we will start with you now.
There we go. I messed up.
All right, so the next topic is the crisis of thinking. Are we informed or just opinionated? Your 2 minutes, 30 seconds starts now, Mr. Penuel.
Are we informed or opinionated? We are definitely not informed. We are highly opinionated. And I think social media is a great platform as a case study where you're debating with people that just don't want to read, that just don't want to research. So when I tell you, for example, something that came out this week, suicide amongst young people is the second highest cause of death between people who are 15 to 29. Of those, it's number 2 in terms of death. Of those that kill themselves, take their lives, 80% of them are men or boys. You post that on social media and the opinions start coming. Who told you that? I'm like, we've got the same data, my friend. We can research same vibes, which means people are not informed. Some of us, because we read, because not everyone is a reader, not everyone is into research, not everyone is a curious mind. Like I said previously, I think it's incumbent upon you to then try and inform others so that their opinions can be richer and so that their opinions or whatever actions they take can actually shift society, if not their loved ones, in a better way. Thinking is hard. And the reality, if you actually take a moment to think about it, is that the highest paid people in the world are actually thinkers, not doers. It's not the person working at KFC or the person driving the Uber or the person protesting in the street. It's the guys sitting in a room that are making decisions. We speak about board of directors. We speak about a research group. We speak about the United Nations, the world. Those are thinkers in a room. They make the most money. So if you can do that difficult work of thinking, of researching, of informing yourself, and finding platforms and moving up the platforms to the biggest platforms in the world, you will not only earn the most, you will also become the most influential. And one of the key parts of being a thinker is to formulate a worldview. You need to have strong views on how you think the world should operate. And you need to be arrogant enough to be as loud as possible, because the other people that you're busy being considerate about, they don't care about you. They will enforce their worldviews of India, of China, of Russia, of America, of Israel, of Ukraine, of Palestine. They will enforce them on you because you're an African and you believe in Ubuntu. You need to get out of that thinking.
All right, Mr. Bonsai, your 2 minute, 30 seconds starts now.
I see what you mean. So, we've always had social media before OWL. The only difference is the old social media, you only had access to it after you thought. So things have shifted now. You get the platform before you think. And so many people make the mistake. They never made this mistake in, when Biko was writing, I write what I like. He thought what he liked for a long time before he could put that article in the paper, and it exists now. But social media, now we have OWL. You just take a picture of that QR code, and guess what? We're ready to hear what you have to say. And so it's important that we actually realize when we are thinking and when we are expressing an opinion, because we do need more thinkers so that we have better actors. So first thing you want to think about is your purpose in life. As a young person, one thing I am so grateful for is what I'm about to share with you. And here's what happens, is I used to say, I'm very passionate about music. And someone taught me, you need to ask the question, why, 7 times until you get to the 7th point. And if you can do that, and I realize it's a lot of work, just thinking about myself. And so the people that Penuel was talking about who do all the thinking, what they do, and I'm going to ask you to shout after me, is they just pass down slogans. Someone say slogans. Slogans. Slogans, which are just catchphrases that we say, and they're fine, but one of the things you can do for yourself that will take you from opinion to thinking is to just ask yourself, what does that mean? And ask that 7 times. And you'll find at the end of that, you've actually found your thinking. So you say, blah, 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 it always rises because it goes to the top. Ask yourself, what does that mean? Answer, what does that mean? And with this, we'll have more thinkers, and I think a lot of the problems we think we need to solve, or someone needs to solve for us, we realize we think differently about how.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Bonsai. All right, and then the final topic is from conversation to action. The focus can be around why good ideas die after the event. We will start with you, Mr. Penuel, and your 2 minute, 30 seconds starts now.
If I don't have an answer, I just put the mic down.
You need to have an answer.
Shit. Now I have to lie now. I've created my own religion. For people that may not know, it's called Penuelism, named after, take a wild guess. And one of the chapters in my Bible, in my book, Penuelism Principles, is around thinkers, speakers, and doers. And I speak about in that chapter why it's so fundamentally important to collaborate with each and every one. Because some people just do without thinking. And they end up destroying a lot of things. Whereas they could have just gotten a thinker to advise them better. You see this in a king with an advisor with soldiers. Right? It's, I guess you'd call it the holy triangle. The problem that we have in society is we are not trained to do. And I do blame systems. I do blame the schools. The way we've structured education is passive engagement. We get kids to sit in a classroom, keep quiet, don't speak. If you speak, if you're fidgeting, we put you on Ritalin because you have ADHD. But we are meant to be a moving creature. And we are destroyed over 12 years to only sit and passively engage and think, which you can only imagine graduates to that in our adult lives. That's why ideas die. I do challenge whoever has some type of influence on the schooling system to say, how's about 50-50? Speak to the kids, but half of the lesson they have to do something. So that once they leave matric, once they leave grade 9, they know, I can't just speak about these things and draft a business plan and register a CIPC. I need to actually do something about it. Because the reason we're here, the reason we just think and ideate and never do, is because of habit. And habit over years becomes ingrained and becomes second nature. It's just nice to have ideas and to talk about them and to make noise on social media. You already feel like you've done something, but you've done nothing. So the challenge for us who are a bit older and who have been indoctrinated is to say, every time I have an idea, the challenge for me is to go and do something about it. Otherwise, I'm wasting time and I need to go and rewire the way I've been conditioned. Bonsai spoke about asking a question 7 times. I would say every time you come up with an idea, do something about it 7 times before you work on the next idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penuel. Mr. Bonsai, your 2 minutes, 30 seconds starts now.
Absolutely. So let me start by agreeing with what Penuel has just said. That never leave the point of a great idea without taking one step at that point. Meaning, you get an idea, at least we have phones, at least just write the idea down because you have taken action, and action leads to more action. But answering the question, why do we have many ideas that are not implemented? I'll say this, because you can't implement an idea. You can only implement a strategy, a tactic, a next step, a list. And usually the connection between the idea and the action in terms of an organized one, not the first one I'm talking about, and I agree with Penuel because momentum is important, is that in between comes thinking. Now, I have been in entrepreneurship all of my life. I started as a piano player who ended up discovering big stars in the country, and the stuff I wrote a book on social media for fun, but managed to publish it, make 9 times bestseller list because it was 36,000 copies. Started a channel smaller than Penuel. I'm only on 76,000 followers in the last year. Now, so this is what I wanted to say. Many times when I have people come to me, because I'm very passionate about helping entrepreneurs, is many times when they come to me and say, I have a business idea, by the time they finish telling me their idea, I think if I had asked my cousin, they would have told me the same thing. Because what's missing is that they often haven't done the work in between idea and concept, which is different because you've got to think about your idea to turn it into a concept, and a concept means something. Now you can advise. And so the thinking thing we just spoke about is very important, because get used to being in a park alone, in a room alone, because without that, You're just going to repeat what everybody says around you, and it's hard to implement.
All righty. Thank you, gentlemen. Just as we wrap up, can we have closing remarks, reflection, and practical takeaways based on the topics that we discussed today? We'll start with you, Mr. Bonsai.
This is another lesson. Nothing will ever go your way for very long. Closing remarks. I'm not going to say much about the content. I've got to thank Al. The reason why I'm here, and I hope that you take this with you and everyone who's watching. The reason why I'm here is because I celebrate creators more than politicians. I have no hope for a better future based on what some politicians said. I don't care how loud they say it. I don't care how emotional they make me. I have my future in Dr. Sfiso's hands, because I've come to learn that the person who's going to decide if my kids are going to have more power in the world, more respect in the world, is not any political party. It's this gentleman, because they created this thing and they're working on it and taking it somewhere. So please do this. It's very easy of us to go, the government must this, the government must Who is selling sweets next to you? That better be the last day you buy sweets from anywhere else but from them. Celebrate creators. If you get on a stage, it's easy to say, I'm all for black people. If you get on a stage with a black entrepreneur, you better say their brand name 7 times. Because your kids will be respected based on how well Owl does, not how well some clown who's faking it all talks on TV. These are the people. These people are our only salvation. The creators, the builders, the innovators. Because if you check how cultures get colonized, it's not because of what the politicians did. It's because of how many big taxpayers they have behind them to buy them big weapons, and then they can blow us up. So we better listen, because what else can you do? You can shout. Well, let me tell you what's even better. Watch what's happening with China and America right now. America is not thinking of bombing China right now, and will not do it, and will not consider doing it, because they'll take a couple of trillions off their balance sheet with that bomb. They can talk nonsense about everybody else, but here's what China did. They started celebrating their creators, their innovators, enabling them. And guess what? They bought weapons the same size as America, so they kind of think twice before talking to someone with the same weapons. So let's celebrate our creators, our entrepreneurs, our builders, because that is where the strength is. And then we can give our politicians enough money to talk big, but at least look good, because we're standing behind them as creators.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Bonsai. Thank you. That was quite profound. Mr. Penuel, closing remarks, practical takeaways from your end?
Thank you, Kyo. This might be the last time I talk, I think. Dr. Sfiso, thank you. Rendani, thank you. Antoinette, for inviting me. Everyone who's involved, including the crew, the guys who are filming, the DJ, the guys behind the venue. Guys, thank you so much to all of you for organizing this, and thank you to Al. The VIPs for today, though, are you young guys. We actually came for you. We've walked this path, so we're not really cool anymore. You guys are still cool, much cooler than us. I need you guys to understand that the world has never been changed by old people. It's always been changed by young people who are radical, who are so stupid that they cannot accept the world for what it is. And I need you guys to embrace and to accept this request from myself. I'm not that old, but I'm older than you, that you guys need to lead us. The reason there are old people in parliament is because of you. You guys are not voting for each other. The reason business people are these old white people is because of you. Some of you sitting in the room now have got businesses, you've got brands, but you need to fight harder and be louder. But we're here for you and we need you guys to lead us. We're worried about like our kids and getting old and our health. You guys are still, like I said, stupid enough to actually think that the world can be something completely different. So for the fact that you guys came here, you were brave enough to come and sit and share your ideas. And all of you were brave, already tells me that you guys are leaders. And I implore upon you that you guys go back to wherever you came from. I'm not talking about Northwest University and UJ. I'm talking about your homes. I'm talking about where you're based. And identify yourself as a leader. Take personal accountability. Be a thinker. Maybe not a slay queen, but, slay where you are. And be a change maker. There's nothing special about us. There's nothing special about me, about Bonsai, about Dr. Sfis, or anyone else. We just decided that we just want to do it. And we're going to do more than the next guy. It's the reason why you guys are here, and some of your schoolmates are probably drunk where they are, or smoking hubbly. You guys are weird, and you're different. It's a Friday. But you're here engaging in like intellectual conversation. So thank you for blessing us with your presence, for your intelligence, for your research. And I look forward to seeing you guys lead us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Alrighty, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for your perspectives. Thank you for your wisdom. You can go take your seats. Let's just give them a round of applause for the last time.